Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome, brothers and sisters, to part 2 of the history of the Afro Caribbean Muslim community in Brixton. MashaAllah, it was an excellent and informative discussion last week. Here we're discussing part 2. And what we're going to do first, we're going to have a summary, just a brief summary as to where we are in regards to the establishment of the mosque. So if Abu Bakr, Sheikh, Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Ismail, Assalamu alaikum, how are you doing?
Wa alaikum salam.
Okay.
I'm fine, thanks. Alhamdulillah,
Okay.
good to be here again.
Naam. So what we're going to do first is, if Abu Bakr, if you can just give us a brief summary of from Belford Road until we get to 1 Gresham Road, and what is the structure? And also, Ismail, what is the structure now of the Shura at that time at Belford Road, moving on to 1 Gresham Road? Fadl, Sheikh.
Okay, alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa salam. Again, Jazakallahu khair for inviting me to your platform.
You're welcome, Sheikh. You're welcome.
Alhamdulillah. So we are at Belfields Road, and we are up to the point where the council actually, we were visited by the councillor of Brixton, her name was Linda Bellas, and she came with a delegation to 25 Belfields Road, and she spoke to us about we cannot stay at 25 Belfields Road because it is a residential building, and we need to have a commercial building. And there was no building at the time that they know of, but they will work with us until we find a building. Okay, that was fine. We agreed. That is what we will do. Linda Bellos, she appointed someone from her cabinet to work with us. That brother's name is a Rasta man. He's got locks reach to the back of his feet. His name is Brother Raouf.
Sheikh, who's us? Who's us? If you can detail who is us.
The community. The community, meaning the committee of Brixton Masjid at the time, which was Suleiman Abdullah was the chairman. Myself was secretary. Brother Dawood was the treasurer, and I had an assistant, whose name is Brother Nadim. He was my assistant. Alhamdulillah. He was a journalist then, so his writing skill is fantastic. And we have all of the other brothers from West London who used to come over, and also the Ashada committee as well. So we have, basically everybody.
Okay. So we have. You just mentioned the those who are how can you say responsible for the masjid, and now also we have the group who are managing Al Shahada.
No.
I don't know. It might be a good time actually for Ismail Hamza to explain to us who Al Shahada are and what they were doing.
Al Shahada, I first came across. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Yeah, I first came across Al Shahada in about 1985. And I also remember Muhammad Saeed Abdurrahman, Sheikh Muhammad Saeed Abdurrahman, and Abdurrahman. I forgot the other Abdurrahman. I'm looking at him now, and I forgot his name.
What did you say, Abu Bakr? Do you know his name?
Ashir.
Yeah, Hashir.
Okay.
Hashir. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. And basically, they were the first two brothers
Mhm.
that had this idea. I remember having the first meeting in West London, and
So you're
we
saying
we
that, are you
form
saying
up a
that the idea actually came from West London?
no,
Okay.
because Muhammad Saeed Abdurrahman is not from West London. He's from
Okay.
Brixton,
Mhm.
and he was like the mastermind. Him and Hashir,
Mhm.
but I would say more Muhammad Saeed Abdurrahman, and Hashir. They were the one who came down, or maybe is that Muhammad Saeed Abdurrahman and Hashir started it from Brixton. I don't know what traction they got they got in Brixton, but I remember having the first one of the first meetings down in West London, and then from West London it went back down into to Brixton again in Belfield Roads. I remember going there in Belfield Roads and having the meeting there, and then we moved from there and we went to, I don't know which one came, I can't remember which one came first. I think the Brixton Enterprise Centre on Ferndale Road.
Is it
Ferndale
one, two,
Road, just
three?
opposite.
Mhm.
Hmm?
Was it 123 Founder Road you mentioned last week?
This is what I'm saying, that
Okay.
we moved into office. From Belford Road, we moved into office at Brixton, sorry?
Bon Marsh.
Bon Marsh, good. It was a Bon Marsh. And then from Bon Marsh, we acquired 123 Ferndale Road, and then we moved out of Bon Marsh. We moved to Ferndale Road, and at Ferndale Road, we use that as an office and as a masjid. And then when the number 1 Gresham Road became available, we moved out of 123 Ferndale Road, and we used the sisters side of the masjid. It was upstairs, and downstairs was a garage, and the Shahada funds converted the downstairs garage. We put the stairs in, we put the rooms in, and made a stairwell up to the office up on top.
Okay.
And that was the first, you could say, kind of independent office that we had, apart from 123 Ferndale Road for Ashahada.
So Ismail, so was 1 Gresham Road acquired under Ashahada?
No.
Sorry?
No.
Okay, how was 1 Gresham Road acquired?
As Sheikh Abu Bakr said, it was acquired. It was like it seemed to be like a joint venture.
Okay.
Mainly from the brothers Sheikh Abu Bakr and Suleiman Abdullah and Dawood and the various people there. And then there was a link with the brothers from West London, because by then we had no masjid.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we used to come down and we used to work together with the brothers in Brixton.
So was there what I'm looking at, was there like Sheikh Abu Bakr on his side were the shura for the masjid, and then yourself had the shura for Ash-Shahada, and you was both working together at 1 Gresham Road?
There was a mixture. We had brothers in Brixton and brothers in West London who were working for Ash-Shahada and also who were working at Brixton. When we first got the masjid, it was, we had people from various different parts of London that would all come together.
Okay.
We had brother Abdul Majid. He was in Stonebridge that time, and he came from Stonebridge, Wembley. He came all the way down. He was there. Muhammad Saeed Abdurrahman was there. Of course, Sheikh Abu Bakr, because he was there. And other members of the community from various different parts. of London, we all kind of came together.
Excellent. I'm going to go back to Sheikh Abu Bakr. Now that the Shura, the Masjid Shura, now they have a building, and there's not many of you on the Shura, and your responsibility now to grow the community, build the community. People are coming to the masjid. This is a big responsibility. What were your first steps? What was your first idea as to how you're going to grow this community, bearing in mind people are ex-Rasta, ex-Nation of Islam, ex-Ansar cult, etc. What were your first steps, and how were you going to go about re-educating this community about Islam?
You see, we had from Belfield Road some idea that we were actually implementing, because we used to have a lot of influential people or celebrities, if you may, that used to come to Belfield Road. We used to have people like Sheikh Dash.
Okay.
Sheikh Dash was one of the leading imam in Central Masjid, and he used to take it on himself to come amongst us and give us lessons from time to time. Okay. We used to have, sometimes we have Yusuf Islam used to come amongst us and share with us some of his experience and so forth. So not that he was a scholar, but
yes.
he come amongst us anyway. And we have people like, as we said, Jimmy Cliff and those celebrities, they used to come.
Okay, sorry to cut you, Sheikh.
Yeah.
Would you say that the fact this community was in Brixton, Afro Caribbean community, was it somewhat famous? Was it somewhat starting to be known, starting to be supported?
Yes, it was getting some form of popularity.
Yes, popularity. Yes, yes.
Because it was the only center of its kind. There were no other. So anyone who interested in Islam or want to know something more about Islam, then they would get in touch, or they would come, they sit and they chat and so forth, so on. So our great problem was, which I think we're gonna touch into that, was the finance to keep going, to pay for the imam who we had at the time was like Imam Rashid, and we'd done many things. Go to Central Masjid, ask them to help us. They gave us something like £500 and some books. We went to Ahlul Bayt. At that time, we didn't know too much difference. We went to Ahlul Bayt in Clapham.
Yes.
We met one of their scholars who came over, and they're a big man. And we told the big man about our problem, that we just embrace Islam. We don't have enough knowledge and so forth, so on. And there's one who came amongst us, and he's a man who have plenty more knowledge than we, and we need him to teach us. And he said, okay, we will pay his rent for 1 year. That was a big breakthrough.
They'll pay the imam's rent.
The imam's in wages, not rent, his wages for 1 year.
In Brixton. This is Ahlul Bayt. Shia.
Yeah, Ahlul Bayt. But there was no strings attached. There was no string attached with them. Yeah. Just from their own generosity, they pay Imam Rashid's wages for 1 year. And the same week that Imam gave the permission to that masjid, their masjid, to pay, he went to Sudan, and that same week he was killed in Sudan.
The Imam, Sheikh Rashid.
No. The Shiite Imam.
Okay.
Gave us the wages for 1 year to pay our Imam Rashid, to teach us. Yes, no strings attached. He traveled to Sudan and he got killed. Somebody assassinated him there.
So this Shia Imam, he knew you guys were Sunni, and they're Shia.
Yes.
Did you have Did you have any
Sorry.
idea? Oh, do you have any idea of what the difference were, or was it just like they're Muslim, we're all Muslim? Let's go and see if they will fund the masjid at that time.
It was more like what you said. The last part of what you said.
Okay, amazing.
Amazing. Alhamdulillah.
Oh. So that's the imam taken care of.
Yes.
Okay.
So we have 1 year to go on, and alhamdulillah, because we had to move from Belfield Road, you can say that the committee was not of Brixton 25 Belfield Road. We weren't active.
Dawah wise, or what wise? Raising funds or what?
Moved to Ferndale Road. Ferndale Road, the Ashan 23 Ferndale Road belongs to Ashada. So alhamdulillah, we came under them until we moved from Ferndale Road to number 1 Gresham Road.
I get you now. Sheikh Ismail.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa barakatuh. Okay, you were the chairman of Al Shahada?
Yes, that's right. I mean, I weren't always the chairman.
Yeah.
I think when we was at Bon Marsh, I was an allocation officer.
Okay,
and I
okay.
just it was my responsibility to allocate properties to our members. We weren't a housing association then. We was a co-op. But nonetheless, yeah, that was my role then. And then after some time, the chairman he resigned, and then they appointed me as chairman. So I was chairman for. I was a chairman for a while.
Jade. So now you have both, you could say, the Masjid Shura and Al Shahada together at 1 Gresham Road. How are you all working together now? Or how did you see the both groups working together in order to start re-educating as a community, and what were some of the issues that came up?
Well, first and foremost, Shahada, like I said, when we moved into that building, we decided that it was agreed with the Shura as well that Shahada would take part of the building, and we renovated it, and we were paying rent to the masjid. So that was kind of like our contribution in paying some rent. In terms of the administration, there was some members that was on Shahada that were part of the Shura.
Yes, okay.
And there were some parts, but that equally means that there's some part of the Shura that was part of our Shahada as well. The Shahada was very, very supportive of the community because it was made up by the community. It was the community's project.
Got you.
But in terms of education, in the 1990s, the people that used to do the education, responsible for the education, was mainly Sheikh Salah was at the masjid. I remember Sheikh Bodhi being at the masjid. They would teach.
How did they get to know about the masjid? Sheikh Salah, Sheikh Bodhi, were they employed? Were they invited to come, or how did they find about the masjid?
Sheikh Salah was with our masjid since 1982. And 1984 till 1984. Then he went back to Battersea. Then when Imam Rashid, when he went back to Ghana, there was like a vacuum, and that's when you used to see sheikhs who used to give the khutbah at the time, where Sheikh Abu Bakr could speak about that, but Sheikh Salah was at that masjid at the time, and when we moved into 1 Gresham Road, Sheikh Salah was at 1 Gresham Road, you know, also. So, and with him was Sheikh Bodhi as well. And then we had, at that time, they used to do the classes, And there were some basic classes that used to be done, like Arabic. And some of the brothers used to teach that. I would teach that as well. Some basic, alif, ba, ta, and stuff like that.
So how did you seek to deal with the fact that people had, obviously they're coming to the masjid, they reverted to Islam, they become Muslim, or they are a Nation of Islam, Ansar Sunnah. Did you have specific classes on these issues, or did you just let it go, or were there conflicts between people and discussions? What was the view of the shura at the time as to how to deal with these conflicts?
There weren't conflicts as such. There weren't open conflicts because it it was kind of a bit strange, and I shouldn't really laugh because it's just something like my character. I laugh because I something comes up and I find it funny. It was just a bit like the Rasta days. Everybody does his thing a bit different, and we're all together, and we're all black people, and we're all Muslim, and if you're a Muslim brother, it's cool, and but it's when the purification process come, when you get pure Islam coming, when you get Sheikh Salah talking about Islam and talking about the Sunnah and talking about the success is following the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu and following his companions, and you got Dr. Bilal Phillips coming, and you got him talking, saying the same thing, and Sheikh Bodhi saying the same thing, then it starts to go through, but it's still not making that clear differentiation between Shia, they're off, or the Sufis, that they're off, or Ansar cult, or Nation of Islam. It's still not making a clear differentiation. It's doing it in a general way, but not in a specific way.
I mean, Sheikh Abu Bakr, would you say that probably at this time, maybe you had more concern, or the shura at the time had more concern about paying the bills, forming a proper shura and having a constitution, and the issues of ikhtilaf, or the issues of the different groups in there, was something that was secondary? How did it develop, basically?
Well, first and foremost, I would like to say that every changes need time to be adjusted to.
Yes.
And we were new Muslims.
Yes.
And prior to that, we didn't really have a lot of information. We have perimeter information, but nothing in depth.
Yes.
And it was a gradual process of development. And alhamdulillah, and really and truly, I really appreciated it that way. Yes. Looking back, I really appreciated that way because, it had time for things to sink in. Yeah, where I'm concerned anyway. And so we weren't focused on the different groups to say, well, this one is that one is that one is Shia, that one is Ahmadiyya, that one is Nation of Islam, so forth, so on. We were more looking on a community level that, how can we go forward? How can we develop? There's so many issues. There's economical issues. There's educational issues. There's all sort of stuff that bombarded us. Don't forget, we are people coming out of the grave.
The grave, meaning?
Meaning to Jahiliyyah.
Yes, you come from Jahiliyyah. Yes.
We are coming out of, from darkness, really, into light. And so we have people, as Aki Ismail just mentioned, that had more knowledge than ourselves, such as people like Sheikh Baudi, Sheikh Salah, and other people would be invited in to come and talk on particular issues, especially issues that is affecting us.
What are the main issues affecting you then, as a new community?
There's so many things. For instance,
I mean, the point I want to get at is, now maybe we might take the message for granted that it's established, it's been bought, and I think that people need to know those early struggles in order to secure that masjid and keep it as it is there today. So I think we really want to shine a light on this so we can actually give some appreciation to those who were at the beginning, at that time, and what struggles they went through.
Yeah, we had issues like people coming to Islam, they're young, and their parents, don't like it. We have issues like most of the brothers were unemployed. Okay, we have issues of brothers want wife, and at the time there was not enough sisters, and things like this. So we have many things that affect us at the time, and we just have to bear it and work through it as we go along.
Sheikh Ismail.
Hi,
Yeah, what was your role in the masjid then, as well as Al Shahada? Was you playing any religious role yourself in the masjid at that time?
It's just to show you where we were in terms of a lack of knowledge and leadership, that you could find someone who's young at that time. I don't consider myself to be old at that time. Did have a role in teaching, and with Sarat Abdul Malik, we rahimahullah. If Sheikh Salah wasn't around, because he would come, and when he come, he would lead the Salah. And then it was Sarat Abdul Malik, rahimahullah. He would lead the Salah, and then at times I would come and lead the Salah. Sheikh Abu Bakr would lead the Salah, and if Sulaiman Abdul Sabur, was because he used to come and he used to give the khutbah. Actually, Sheikh Sulaiman Abdul Sabur, he was very, very instrumental, as well as Sheikh Salah and Sheikh Bodhi, in teaching Islam. Yeah, in teaching Islam, without the deviation. I wouldn't say completely, but mainly Sunnah. Mainly Sunnah, not being correct, especially as far as the belief system is concerned. The belief system is concerned. I never got anything from Sulaiman Abdul Sabur from our belief. Looking at it now, that was incorrect. Or Sheikh Salah, or Sheikh Bodhi, or Bilal Phillips. Weren't aware of anything. But he was very, very, very instrumental. Myself, I just used to do basic things like teaching Arabic, or teaching martial arts, or just being in the community. So there were other brothers there that were doing the same. Being a good example in terms of business and being a role model in the community. Sheikh Abu Bakr and other brothers as well. And teaching just life skills. And being a good role model in the community.
So what? How did you then begin to establish? Like Sheikh Abu Bakr was saying that there weren't many sisters there for brothers to get married, and I think probably the situation has changed a lot now. How did the masjid begin to grow? Was there dawah done? Were there people started to reach out to the community? How did it start to grow, and how did other people get involved into the masjid?
A lot of people used to come for dawah.
Yes.
We had a lot of people come in for dawah. As you can see in the 90s, that was 19. That was the early 90s. That was early, very, very early 90s. You can see from that video that you showed the last time.
Yeah.
And you could see that the interaction. And you can see there also exactly what it is that we say now. You had Dr. Bilal Phillips, you had Sheikh Salah rahimahullah, Sheikh Bodhi.
Hey, Bodhi.
At that time, even Faisal, the Takfiri, he weren't saying Takfiri, and he weren't saying that mad stuff then. You know what I mean? You weren't saying that mad stuff then. That came afterwards. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how it came afterwards, but it did. So so you had various people who had studied amongst us who were teaching.
And now obviously the masjid is established. We're having a diverse community now. Now we're probably getting Asians come to the masjid. We're now getting Somalis. We're getting Arabs. All kind of different nationalities are coming in to the masjid. Were there any conflicts at that time, or was everyone gelling as one? How would you like to answer that, Sheikh Abu Bakr?
Yeah, well, at that time, I would say after Sheikh Salah, and that was like the Gulf War was on at that time. Iraq and America and Britain. So there was a lot of tension and all that sort of stuff. And, yeah. So what was the point? Sorry, I don't get distracted.
Yeah, obviously, remember you recounted the relationship you had with the masjid at Belfield Road, that there was some kind of racism from that masjid, the other masjid on Belfield Road. Now you have your own place. Now you have the masjid established at 1 Gresham Road. And now probably the community is going to come to your masjid now. They're going to come to 1 Gresham Road. What was the atmosphere like? Was it very welcoming to other nationalities? Was there any nationalistic tendencies at 1 Gresham Road at that time, or was everyone welcome with open arms?
I don't think that people who Brixton is a place where many of the Muslims have their business, even though they don't live in Brixton. So probably have their local masjid in their area where they, which is they're members of.
Yes.
So they would just come into Brixton for the prayer. You understand? So I don't think at that time people were like noticing those type of people. I don't think they were actually noticing the difference of what was going on at the time. They don't, you know, unless something was really obvious. You see, so people just come and pray at the time, and you know, most of these people were also on what they're on.
Yes.
You know, whether it is Maliki or Shafi or Anbali or Tabliki Jamaat or whatever they are on. So everybody mind their own business. But it was more apparent to us who are there in 2014.
Yes.
That boy, there's a lot of things going on here. Some people you can tolerate, and some people you cannot tolerate, because they're giving dawah to other groups.
Yes.
And sometimes people would be, you know, talking on top of the advice, or sometimes people get hungry when they are shunned by the person who they are talking to. You know, some people probably get, you know, hungry or something like that. And that is when it is even more apparent. You see? Like I remember one brother went to call the azan, and he's calling in the Hassan Ali in the azan, and everybody is looking at him. And when he came to pray, he's actually a round stone that he put on the ground and put his head on it, and you know, he's so different from everybody else.
Yes.
So this one, I think, didn't really go down well with some more than others.
Yes, but was it I wouldn't use it as free for all, but was it like, well, okay, you could just come and call it a van and do as you like? At that time, there wasn't a real structure in place to say, well, okay, we have this is the muaddin, this is the imam, in those early days.
Yeah, if you even have a structure in place, sometimes people are absent for one reason or the other.
Okay.
So then you find someone who probably know how to call will call. So it was more or less, as you say, free for all, really. To, you know, it was a free place for everybody to do their own thing.
Yeah.
Everybody, as Ismail said, everybody do their thing a little bit different. That's it. And everybody was showing their difference.
Yeah. So Sheikh Ismail, when did things start to get serious then? When did things start to formulate, and when did the Shura and the brothers kind of understand that we've got to now set a proper educational program, we've got to move to the Sunnah? When did that really happen? Any key moments come to mind?
Yeah, the key moments was always there. I mean, you know, may Allah reward Sirah Abdul Malik rahimahullah. He was, you know, always of a good understanding when it came to Tawheed, and the manhaj had to be taught by the scholars. You know, the methodology and how we need to speak to people, treat people, and how we need to behave whilst giving the da'wah. You know, this Thalathatul Asul was not clear to us that we need to get the pure knowledge and we need to implement it on ourselves. And then we need to give a dawah, core to it. And then we need to be patient on any difficulties that we're experiencing from it. That basic thing that I'm saying here, that is basic to almost everybody today, yeah, was not clear to us then. So what you might find there are a group, they're teaching the correct aqidah, but then the methodology on how it was done, sometime it was a bit coarse and a bit harsh. So some of the brothers, they gathered round, and some people were introduced into the community. Brother Muntasir and was introduced to the community, and Abu Alia, I remember Abu Alia was introduced, and Muntasir was introduced. And then what was happening is, as Sirah Abdul Malik rahimahullah was continue giving the dawah, and the dawah was being given, especially to the brothers down in Croydon, we had the younger brothers, brothers like yourself, Ismail, brothers like Mubarak. Akhi Mubarak was a born Muslim anyway, but then, you know, we saw Mubarak was working with me 1990. Then we had brother Idris, and I'm looking at the brother now, can't remember his name. Sheikh Abu Bakr, the younger brother, is kind of like a Chinese extract. I forgot his name.
Abdul Rahim.
Abdul Rahim. Allahumma barik alayk. Alayhi. Amin. Wonderful Abdul Rahim. And all the brothers, Brother Idris, Abdul Rahim, Abdul Haq, yourself, Ismail, your brother, and all the brothers started to come in, and then Abu Sufyan.
Yes.
This is when now things started. If you used to say there was a Furqan,
yes,
the criterion between what is right and what is wrong. Did we like the style? No. Was it clearer and better and more concise and more pure and closer to the truth? Yes, I say closer to the truth and not the absolute truth itself, because the absolute truth, Ismail, comes from who? What sort of people will give you the truth?
People who are on the Sunnah, people who are Salafi. I mean,
the ulama.
Type.
People are Salafi. We're all Salafi. The ulama. When the ulama start to come, and now you had people who are alim coming to the masjid teaching, that was a time now we had the pure something. But at that time, it was subject to the manhaj, the methodology, and how this thing was taught, was subject to our whims and our interpretations and our backgrounds. You see what I'm saying? But that was, if you ask for a change, that was the catalyst, the spark of change. Sheikh Abu Bakr,
you're spot on. and we were actually, because we realized that the scholars are the people who we will get the knowledge from. We were more enthusiastic, more eager to bring scholars in. And these are the people who, alhamdulillah, over the period of time, have passed down to all of us, all of the participants in Brixton Masjid, both administrators and worshippers. We all benefited greatly from the scholars. What was important is that the brothers and the administration, had the awareness that we need to bring the people of knowledge in and get closer to those people in order to learn from them what is correct. And I think this was the greatest thing that we have actually, or one of the greatest things that we have actually achieved, is to get closer to the scholars and invite the scholars in to come periodically to come and teach us.
Mm. So who were those who were connected with the scholars? Who were those who first came to the masjid at that time, who were looking abroad or intending to get scholars over? Ismail, Fadl Ismail.
Okay. From what I can remember, we didn't have any scholars at that time coming. We had the Tulab al-Ilm. So we had Sheikh Sulaiman Abdul Sabor, Sheikh Salah himself was there, and Sheikh Bodhi himself was there. There was some difficulties and there were some differences.
Yes.
When Abu Sufyan, when he became the Amir of the community, then there was a type of teaching. Abu Sufyan, he taught me a lot, a great deal. I'm indebted to him.
Can I just go back on one point before that? Sorry. What was the process, if you remember, about electing a new chairman? Like, was it a yearly thing? Was it something that this was the first chairman of the masjid? How did that come up that, we're now going to elect a new chairman? Did someone stand down, or how did that come about?
No, there's an important part before that, Ismail, and that is because you see, at that time, there was the Nation of Islam, the Ansar cult, and the various the Naqshbandi Tariqa, the Shia, and so basically what was happening is that as Sirat Abdul Malik rahimahullah, the dawah that he used to give, as that was being made more and more clearly and was pronounced on the minbar, and with the younger brothers, Abdul Haq coming through, and many other brothers coming through, Idris, and they would press on those people who were part of the shura beforehand. It started to get uncomfortable for those people who had, I say, a deviant, and it is a deviant ideology and belief. And then they started to go. So as they started to leave, they started to open their own communities. The Sufis, they started to get uncomfortable. They were still coming up the Haq's time until these matters of deviancies was addressed. It was addressed by Abu Sufyan. It was addressed by Abdul Haq, and they started to leave. So now what was left now was that how do we when Sheikh Salah left the community.
Why did he leave? Why did he leave?
Why did he leave? When did he leave? Why
did he leave?
Well, the reason why he left, because his style of giving the da'wah, which is more akin to his style of how we used to give the da'wah at Hyde Park. And then on which is good. It's good stuff. It's good that he used to give the dawah in that way in Hyde Park. people used to listen to him, and many people has been guided by him. Yeah, Jazakallah khairan. And I've been one of those people that's been guided by him. But at that time, not many people could take it. You know what I mean? No one would say anything bad about Abu Sufyan, you know, that he's a bad person or he's evil or he's that. It's just that the methodology, not many people could take it. So then the committee of elders, which is a committee of the elders at that time, and because of the time in which I accepted Islam, I was kind of included in that committee.
Who else was on that committee? Who else?
It was a committee. Who else? It was Sheikh Abu Bakr, Sheikh Kamaluddin. It was Saeed Shabazz. It was Sheikh Bodhi, Sheikh Salah, and I can't remember. Sheikh Abu Bakr, you remember anybody else?
Yeah, I think that's about it. That's what I can remember. No.
Yeah, so it was those elders in the community and the learned people of the community at the time. We formed a committee, and we had a judge called Professor Noibi.
Yes.
And he was a Nigerian sheikh in terms of his age, and he had more knowledge than us. He used to come and give the khutbah as well. And they appointed him judge, and they appointed someone from Al-Muntada, didn't they, Sheikh Abu Bakr?
That's right.
And then they were the ones that were asked to arbitrate between Abu Sufyan and the committee of the elders on deciding who should be the next leader of the community.
Okay. Do you recollect that time when Abu Sufyan got elected as the chairman, and what do you think was the response of the community to him being elected at that time? How did his form of dawah go down with the wider community?
Sheikh Abu Bakr, you want to answer that?
Yes, you know, he was elected by the most of his followers, I think. And well, before that, we just thought the brother was a nice brother, Abu Sufyan.
Yes.
He was a nice brother, but it seemed when he came into the position, he became a bit more mutashadid, a bit hard on the people. And, you know, many of the people, you know, people embrace Islam. They're like babies.
Yes.
You know, you have to be gentle with babies. You cannot be, you know, forcing food down their throats and, you know, doing harsh things to them. You put them off. And it was very difficult for the people to digest his method of leadership. And hence the people want change.
Yes.
They want change. And that is why the committee of elders were formed. And when we say the committee of elders, there must be at least 12, 13 of us. It's not just from Brixton, but it's from West London and other places. Sadiq, Brother Sadiq.
Yes.
You know, he wasn't from West London, he was from other place. But all these brothers, they came, we all came together to talk about, you know, ways how we can solve the problem, because there was the waters was rippled. There was a lot of ripple at the time. So we all discuss and we talk about where, you know, okay, if we get the brother out, then who would be suitable to take over the position? And I think we all came, you know, with the same idea that we do believe that that young brother, Abdul Haq. He at the time was not like, he was very mild, was very courteous to everybody. He seemed like also a clever person, and he has good education. So we all thought, well, yeah, he would be the one. So when we called the mediators in, and we talk about the problem and so forth, so on. Then Sheikh Kamaluddin and I were called into a room with the mediators. They asked us, who do we have in mind who can take over the chairmanship of the Brixton Masjid. So Sheikh Kamal and I, we echoed what was discussed by this committee of elders to the mediators. So so that's how Abdul Haq came into the position. So when he was selected, then he had to, it was also suggested that some of his shura would come from the committee of elders and some from Abu Sufyan administration and some others that he would elect from who he wants to elect them from. So with that, Abu Sufyan was out. But I just want to, one thing, which, as I say, is a part of our history. At that meeting of the committees of elders, Faisal was the chair. He chaired that meeting.
Okay.
He chaired that meeting of the committee of elders. And we made a decision that we would go to the masjid at a certain time and and take over. But he actually went there before us, before all of us, with his group in order to take over.
Okay. So just to clarify, the group of elders, community of elders, were going to come to the masjid, remove Abu Sufyan, and then install Abdul Haq Baker.
No.
Sorry,
no.
Go on.
Right. We want, at that time, we discussed that we would actually, we did discuss Abdul Haq, that he would be a more suitable person.
Okay.
To lead the community, because you don't have no problem with nobody. But when we get to the masjid, the brother who was cheering us, he went there first and decided that he wanted to get rid of Abu Sufyan. And I think is another episode that we actually met with the arbitrators. And then we initiated Abdul Haq as the new chairman of Brixton. I think that was correct, Ismail. If I missed anything there.
No, you're spot on, Sheikh. That's what happened. And I'm glad you actually brought it up, because I actually forgot that incident concerning Faisal, and yeah, it was good that you reminded me of it. That is what happened, Brother Ismail. They asked us, who do we want, and we, after duly considering, we found Abdul Haq Baker to be an astute young man, to have a following, and he was sincere, and he's still sincere even today. You know what I mean? That sincerity is still there up until today. Do we agree with him on everything? No, but I would say he's sincere. Allah knows best.
Okay, what I think. Go on.
So what I'm gonna finish off saying, we decided that it's gonna be Abdul Haq, and there were some conditions. The conditions is that the committee of elders would have to be disbanded. The other condition is that they should be 2 people from Al-Muntada, or that side, West London side, 2 people from the Committee of Elders, 2 people from Abdul Haq Baker group, and there were some other 2 people from somewhere else. I think there was 6 in all. So that's how we started. But what we found was
there was 3 from us. 3 from
there were 3 from us. Okay.
That was
Well,
you
3 from us.
And Kamal.
Okay. But what we found was that yeah, that was good for a while. That ran good for a while, and then from then afterwards we found that there was connection with Muntasir, Abu Alia, and other brothers who had connection to the Mashaykh in Sulman Abdul Sabor. They had Sirah Abdul Malik as well, who had connection to the Mashaykh in Saudi, in Jordan, Kuwait, and then soon after that they started coming over.
Jazakallah khair. Excellent. Hopefully we're gonna deal with the Abdul Haq era going forward, but we're gonna summarize now. This is a question for Abu Bakr, Sheikh Abu Bakr. Tell me some of the highlights, the good times that stay with you now concerning the era, the early days, things that you take from this masjid or this era of time was a blessed time. And yes, may Allah reward all of you for your efforts. That will be in your hasanat on the day of judgment, inshallah. But can you give us some highlights that live with you now concerning that era?
Up to which point?
Just whatever time up until Abdul Haq Baker became the chairman, just at the beginning time.
Well, knowing my background, and we are coming from a type of Rasta background, and living amongst the Rastas, and they have some form of unity, but that type of unity is based on is very shallow. There's no the knowledge is very shallow where the Creator is concerned. And coming into Islam and the development of learning about the Creator, learn about His Prophet, learning about His books, learning, not only just learning, but putting things into practice into your life, everyday to the life, family. To me, I from then I could see clearly that this is it for me. There's no other way. There's no other way. This is how I want to bring up my family, or I want to bring up my children. This is what I want to die on. And so I'm holding on firmly to that until now.
I mean, despite the struggle and the strife and the conflict, was it a blessed time for you, even though there must have been a lot of pressure on your shoulders, growing a new community with all the new shahadas and the conflict?
It was good time for me all the way through, brother. I've seen many things. But then I've seen many things before that. And I know where you have people and the different, mentality of people, and we're all coming from different backgrounds. Some of us were traumatized.
Yes.
Right? Some of us been through serious trauma, and coming to Islam, it helped trauma. There are many brothers who came in and they were like mental health problem.
Yes.
Many sisters have mental health problem. But alhamdulillah, they came in and you can see the sikin on them.
Yeah.
However, the drugs that they are taking, when it wear off,
yes,
then they are back to square one. And you have the different levels of people who are suffering. You see, because the Afro Caribbean people, most of us have been traumatized, really and truly. And Islam, for me, is what saved most of us.
Yes.
And seeing at the time also, many of the brothers, are people who were in prison for some time or the other. And some of them heard about Islam in prison, some embraced in prison. And when they come out of prison, they come to the masjid. And then they find that, okay, when you come, if you're practicing, there are certain things you cannot do. Certain things you cannot participate in. And you have to earn honest living and so forth, so on. And seeing that there were no, business people amongst us at the time, where we could have a jobs and all them sort of stuff. Some of those brothers go right back into, where they came from. And that was one of the things with me that I saw that, starting business, was so crucial for us. We earning money and we don't have to depend on other people, because even though we have our own community, and we keep on going to people and ask them for help to pay the rent and help for this and help for that. They're fed up of us. They're fed up, you see. And, to keep your dignity, you need to be setting up your own thing where you can earn your own money, where you can help your community. And that's what some of us went about doing. So Sirat Abdul Malik, alhamdulillah again, may Allah reward him.
Amen.
He brought a certain business in the community, which was the incense trade. The incense, he brought it. As for me, I was not in the incense business. I was mostly in trading in furniture, second-hand business, and so forth, so on. And many of the brothers, alhamdulillah, the incense was like one of the mark of the community, where you could go on Brixton Road or anywhere and you see brothers standing at shop front and they are selling their incense and so forth, and they're earning their money, honest money, and that time was inspiring, I think, that we needed to go on and do great things, and with also at Shah that was set up, it gave us some dignity. Other people from other communities looked on us with respect. That we are doing our thing, we are doing our thing, and we're not depending on them and looking on what they have. We were doing our thing.
Excellent. Jay, let me just jump to Ishmael. We're going to summarize soon, but can you come to give us an idea of some of the highlights of that time that you've experienced in Brixton Masjid? Some of the experiences that the memories that live with you today.
Brixton Masjid is close to my heart. It's home. I made a hijrah. It was absurd. I do laugh like this because I just find it funny that when I was making a hijrah to Brixton, is some people telling me, why are you leaving West London to go to Brixton for? So that's where the community is now. That's where the masjid is now. And I remember going over, I was accepted with open arms. And I shouldn't say it like that because I was already kind of like a part of the community anyway, because I just used to, I used to work with Sheikh Abu Bakr. Remember the furniture shop, Sheikh? And I used to work with Sheikh Abu Bakr. We've been, and Sheikh Abu Bakr was one of the first people to actually help me to set up my own business. So Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. And Sheikh Abdul Malik as well, rahimahullah. I worked with Sheikh Abdul Malik, as Sheikh Sirat Abdul Malik as well, rahimahullah. So these are some of the elders that actually helped me. And it was just fun and enjoyable, teaching martial arts and learning from the brothers and teaching and having a canteen and eating out and, going out and doing paintballing.
Oh, 1 second.
A few people that have harmed our sisters, and we have to slap a man. We would go and we would slap a man because he can't pull the niqab off the sisters, and he can't insult people, and he can't. Then it was a lot hostile. Then a lot of Islamophobia, and so we had to do things. And also Brother Abdurrahman Anderson is here as well. We had to take decision to go down to Croydon to deal with people. We dealt with them at the time. So we had a type of unity. Is it something that we would do now? No, we know better. We know what to do. We know what not to do. But there was a lot of joy and
the brotherhood was strong.
Yeah, the brotherhood was strong despite the disagreements and the conflicts. I still wish that brothers who have disputes with the community, that they reconcile, that we all reconcile even today. And we can do it. And we can do it. We have that ability to do it, and we should do it. It was good. And also Ustad Abdul Wahid, you know, coming into the community, and also brother Ismail Beaumont's coming to the community, and many of the Tulab now today coming in, going out, coming back and bringing the knowledge. All these things is you know, is a joy. Seeing the children grow up and having their children is a joy. So alhamdulillah, bro. You know, it's we just hope that we can get over this COVID-19 so we can get back into the masjid, because we miss it. Probably miss it more now that we don't have it.
Jade, I'm gonna summarize now. We've done an hour now. So one of the reasons why we're doing this look back at Brixton and the history is to actually appreciate the brothers and the sisters who established this masjid. May Allah reward them all. But what is very, very important for all of us is to look to the future as to how we're going to build a community, forget our differences, and go forward. Sometimes when you reflect on the past, you realize that, yeah, there was some issues, but it was a blessing. For me, the community in Brixton was a blessed time. Okay. Unfortunately, some people have some disagreements, but from what I see blessed brothers, blessed sisters, and we have a ni'mah that really we are not giving it its due haqq, its due rights. So for me, the reason why I'm going down, and we will deal with the Abul Haq's time and the Abdurrahman Andersons, because if we reflect, there's so much khair that was good, so much good that was done, that we need to look back, and then we'll appreciate what we had and what we can get back. So we're going to stop now. It's been an hour. Jazakallah khair everyone for participating. I'm going to speak to some of the brothers at my time about doing a part 3 if they're interested, but stay tuned for that. And all I can say to the brothers is Jazakallah khair for your time. Sheikh Abu Bakr, Sheikh Ismail Fraser, it's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure, and hopefully you can all participate in part 3, and I'll send you out the flyer soon, inshallah. So once again,
Jazakallah khair, Ismail, for having us. Jazakallah khair.
Anytime, brother.
No, thank you.
Anytime.
Unto the brothers and sisters who've been listening, Jazakallah khairan.
Barakallahu feekum. So assalam. So we inshallah watch out for the flyer to come, and inshallah we'll see you again in part 3. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.